And Barry, I got to say, that full head of hair looks wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very fortunate, to...
Barry Bostwick today, ladies and gentlemen. I got to tell you, what an honor to be sitting across from you today.
Really?
Well, your work is second to none.
Well, thank you. What would be the thing that you would most like to talk about? The Rocky Horror or some other Spin City I did with Michael J. Fox? Or
how was it working with Michael J. Fox?
Michael is the most brilliant young man. So smart. So he knew comedy. He knew the genre, and he created this show, Spin City, and he created it perfectly for him. And he was the executive producer on it also. And he cast it brilliantly, and so everybody in the cast, you could throw an A story at them, and they would fulfill it and be brilliant at it. Everybody, there wasn't one person in the show that couldn't have carried their own show. I don't think. It's like you're a sports guy. It's a very deep bench. It was a very deep bench on Spin City.
Sure.
Yeah.
Barry, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in San Francisco Bay Area, San Mateo.
San Mateo. And acting, what was that passion of yours to say, I'm going to get into acting?
I don't know. I think my father was very outgoing. He was in sort of PR. And both of my parents had done, I think, little theater and some, not professional theater in San Francisco, and I was always encouraged to entertain, whether it was puppet shows or whether I sang with different people in high school.
Sure.
I had folk singing groups and stuff, and then I really caught on. Well, it's where all the pretty girls were,
They say in California. Barry.
Yeah, and so it was... my first girlfriend in high school was a dancer, and so I used to do some of her dance recitals. I'd be, her partner, and it just went on from there. I went to college, got a Bachelor of Fine Arts, specifically in acting from a college in San Diego, and then I went to NYU School of the Arts, working towards my master's in New York, and then just started working off-Broadway, off-Broadway, and then on Broadway.
For sure. I want to go down that road with you, Barry. What was it like being on Broadway? And tell me some of those big shows you did in New York City.
Well, my biggest one was I created the part of Danny Zuko in Grease. I was the first Danny Zuko in Grease.
Wow.
And I did that for a little over 2 years. Adrienne Barbeau was in that cast, and a lot of people who have gone on to do other things. Yes, so we created Grease, which eventually during that time was the longest running show on Broadway, and now, John and Olivia did the movie, which is probably one of the highest grossing movie musicals,
ever.
And John and I had the same manager at the time. He was younger than me, and he was in the road company of Grease. When I left Broadway, I did the first national tour, and he was in that, and he played another character called Duty in Grease, a smaller character, part of the gang. So we were together for months and months on the road, and he was spectacular. I mean, what a charming, lovely guy, and talented, and I thought he did a great job in the film.
I got to tell you, Danny Zuko was my favorite character.
Really?
In Grease.
Yeah. Well, you can go see some of my stuff on YouTube. I've got some clips that I would do a Broadway retrospective or something on PBS, and they've got Alone at the Drive-In movie I did for some PBS thing, and Summer Nights with the original Carol Demas. We did that for another PBS special.
Sure.
So I got a lot of things on YouTube that are related to Greece.
Tell me you go to NYU.
NYU, yeah.
What's that wow moment of New York? You know, once you get to New York
Yeah.
and you're from California,
Oh, yeah.
Was it right when you got off the train?
No, well, thank God my parents knew somebody there, and I stayed with them in Westchester for the first month or so, and then I found an apartment on the east side, and because to me that's the only way to go to New York. Well, back in the '60s, it was talking about the '60s. You had to have a sort of something to do, and I had school, and then therefore I had a built-in, group of friends finally. So I didn't find myself walking the streets a lonely man, But it was very exciting in the '60s. It was a summer of love, and we all would go out into the park and smoke a little dope, and and just look at each other.
Were you listening to a lot of Bob Dylan then?
Yeah, I did, but I wasn't a big fan of Bob Dylan.
No.
No. My ears are a little more in tune to somebody who sounds good, and I never caught his sound. I certainly caught his creativity and his poetry and all of that, but I didn't like listening to him. I came from a sort of folk singing background where there was, real harmonies and simple songs. Even Peter, Paul, and Mary at the time, they were easy listening for me.
How about Neil Young? Fan of Neil Young?
I like Neil Young. Yeah, just met him a couple of months ago.
Oh, really?
He looks exactly like Neil Young would look. Yeah, I saw him. We did a Rocky Horror Picture Show screening in L.A. at a big outdoor venue, and he was there with his wife or is his girlfriend? The girl that was in Splash.
Oh, yes, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. And they came backstage and we chatted for a while, and he was unusual voice, but listenable for me, But I grew up in the James Taylor era also, and,
one of my favorites.
And he didn't, he did no wrong for me.
Sure.
And the tone of his voice was right in a little high, but so accessible that you always felt like you could sing his songs, even if you couldn't. But there was just sonically, it was just so well balanced and listenable. James Taylor.
One of my favorites, Barry.
Oh yeah. Just the greatest.
Tell me this. Studio 54, did you ever visit that?
Oh yeah, a couple of times, but I don't remember them. Those were the years, I didn't go out. I was too busy working or trying to get a job or, it wasn't really my scene. Believe me, it was a scene. I probably didn't want to find myself standing in that line and not taking the cut, from the guy at the door going, who are you? I'm Barry Bostwick. Yeah, who's that? Go to the back of the line, So I didn't partake a lot of those kinds of things.
Barry, New York at the time, 60s, 70s, right?
Yeah.
In the 70s, you have some unbelievable actors starting to rise up, like
Yeah.
Robert De Niro,
Sure.
right? Scorsese's really coming to his own as a director at the time.
Yeah.
What was it like being around New York? Everybody just starting at that starting point,
Sure.
and then seeing everybody rise.
Well, Scorsese was in the film school at NYU when I was there.
Wow.
And none of us actors were allowed to audition for anything in the film school, which I always thought was so stupid, because I could have worked with him at the time. But one of my first films, De Niro was in it, and he was actually playing a taxi driver before Taxi. And I got to know him a little bit then. But yeah, we all were so spirited and dedicated and myopic in terms of what we wanted and how we wanted to get there.
Sure.
You know? I didn't take an awful lot of detours. I mean, I didn't. No, I mean, I was always needed to make money. I always needed to pay my rent, even though I was living in a loft down on the Bowery. You know, we did a lot of commercials, you know, those years. That's how you learned how to do film. If you were a theater actor, you did, you know, ring around the collar commercials, you know. And so you learned how to how to act on camera as opposed to overact on stage.
What type of inspiration did you gather? Right, you're at NYU.
Yeah.
Who are some of the actors at that time? Like, who are you looking up to?
Jeez,
What movies are you watching in that time frame? You're at NYU, you're in New
Yeah.
York. Like, what's inspiring you to go down this road of Broadway and then to TV?
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably musical movies. You know, the Astaire movies and the Gene Kelly movies.
Sure.
And because I started out in musicals, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do a little dancing and a little singing and a little acting. So that's when I was in school. That's what you had. You had to focus on all three if you had any hope of having a career in 60s, 70s. So I think it was them. I always loved Jimmy Stewart.
Oh,
But any of my contemporaries, I mean, who was there? Pacino, of course.
yes.
You know, Martin Sheen. I saw him do Hamlet.
Wow.
He did when he was very young at the Shakespeare Festival in New York City. And then I saw the original Company of Hair downtown, and was directed by a guy who ended up directing me in 2 shows after that. And that really changed my mind and my taste for musicals. It was such an explosive show,
Sure.
and so new and fresh, and about who we were at the time, you know, Rado and Ragnar. Yeah, these little points of interest, these things that hit you at the time, you know, Hair was definitely one of them, because I was still in school. I was at NYU, around the corner. Yeah.
Where's home for you now, Barry?
I live in Florida. I live in mid-state Florida.
Okay.
I have a very serious avocation of pottery, and I'm a ceramicist. So I have a studio there, and I participate in a lot of the arts in our town called Mount Dora, which is in the mid-state, right in the middle of it, of Lake County. So when I'm not doing a film or doing a convention like this, I'll spend time in my studio creating whatever I wanted to create that week.
Very talented.
Well,
You know, I got to tell you, Barry, I was in the 7th grade, and I made a pot, and I put my initials in it and gave it to my mom. And my mom made me feel like I could do this for a living, right? You know how moms are.
sure.
And then I realized You have to be very talented to do what you do, Barry.
Well, you also have to not want to make a living. Pottery is most potters are also teachers, and
Sure.
I couldn't teach it, so I just had to keep doing it. But I was taught by a Japanese, very famous potter at the time who came over to UCLA on a, I guess, sabbatical, or what do they call it? Which he came over and taught. I taught some of these adult classes, and I took a pottery class with him, and he didn't speak any English, but he had an interpreter with him, and so I learned very visually, and so therefore I always sort of focused on the Japanese aesthetics and the wabi-sabi kind of view of ceramics, pots, life in general.
Going back to New York, like, how were you selected? You audition?
Yeah.
Everybody's auditioning. What sets you apart, Barry?
I think just drive. I think it was just drive and need and I mean, the final audition for Grease.
Yeah.
It came down between me and Tom Hanks.
Wow.
And because we were all around at the same time, and thank God I got it, but it didn't seem to hurt Tom Hanks's career. Not playing Danny Zuko. Yeah. So I know it's obsession.
Sure.
You had to be obsessed with what you were doing, and there was nothing else that would satisfy you in life other than performing or, getting that.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
How did
51 years ago.
51 years.
Yeah.
And people still watching it, Barry.
Oh yeah, we do tours every year where we go out and introduce the film with Shadowcast, and we'd pull in 2,000 people a night at the theaters that we were at. We're on our third generation, and it's like we'll go out. We're doing it again this October. We're doing maybe 25 cities all over the country. We just got back from England where we did 15 cities. Nell, Patricia, and myself, and it's just an unending part of our lives, and will always be. We are so fortunate to have been able to be part of that community with that kind of message of freedom and non-judgmentalness, and it's changed all of our lives. And it's changed people who've seen it, witnessed it, who see it 100 times.
Would you say that's maybe the number one cult classic?
It is. It's the longest continuously running movie in history. It's always playing somewhere and has since it opened. And it's in the Library of Congress. It's a total one-off phenomenon. It's something that will never be replaced or repeated by people have tried to do the sort of Rocky Horror-esque climb, how you get people to go see it. But it was totally discovered by the fans. It was created by the fans. And there you got it. We are here to support the fans who supported the movie, who made the movie what it was and what it is and will be forever, I think.
Sure. Barry, I had the pleasure of meeting Pasha Lichnikov. He's done movies, a lot of TV, Big Bang Theory. He was Siberia, Ray Donovan. And he was kind enough to read some lines with me. I've never done acting.
What did he do?
He was in TV and he was in acting. And I asked him, can I read lines with you, Pasha Lichnikov? I've never acted in my life. And he allowed me to read lines with him.
Uh-huh.
And I realized that day, Barry, you guys are special. Like, actors in general are special. To create a character, to fully play out that character and give the narrative of the character,
Yeah.
that's powerful. I didn't realize until that day, being around it and seeing what you guys put into your craft.
Yeah.
Now, Barry Bostwick is legiondary.
Well, I'm not a legendary, but I'm a craftsman.
And a craftsman. That was my point.
With my pottery or anything, I work at it, and
You take it serious.
I take it very seriously, and I always try to find something different and new in each character, something that I can teach the audience and something that I'm taught by the writer and the script and the director. And it's an unending, journey.
Sure. Out of all those guys we talked about earlier, are you still friends with them? Like, will you call them up on the cell phone?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I a lot of. Oh, I mean, certainly the Spin City people.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
because we were together for a good 6 years.
Yeah, it's a long-running show.
Yeah, I just got a text from Alan Ruck, who's one of those guys who's, saying Happy Father's Day to all us fathers, and I have pods of people. I have my Grease family. I have my Sin City family. I've got my sort of artist family, and my own family. So it's my family. My kids are still in college. My son is getting his doctorate in physics at Heidelberg University in Germany, and my daughter is in her last year of vet school at Colorado State. And once she graduates, she's going to go into the Army for 4 years, and they're going to pay off all of her debt. That's an amazing thing,
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's she's smart because she's taking advantage of that. My son, on the other hand, we're still paying for UCLA, Cambridge, where he got his master's. But now because he's on his doctorate program, they pay him. But we're going to Cambridge in 3 weeks, and he's finally going to get his certificate, his master's. Even though he left there 2 years ago, he never did the walk. And so we're going to go and watch him with all the robes and the this is
Sure.
and that, So yeah, so we're busy.
And you
Family's
did good.
busy. Yeah, my wife did all the work. I just tried to bring in the money.
Barry, I want to thank you for sitting down today.
Sure, I enjoyed this.
And I just enjoy your work.
Well, thank you.
Know that, and I say this with meaning, you entertain. And thank you.
Well, thank you.
I don't know if you hear that enough.
Well, that's why I do these weekends, because I get 3 days of love and thanks.
Right?
And I give it back, hopefully,
For
to
sure.
them, and I want to hear their stories and how either my work has affected them or just show business and films or theater has affected them, and how they're giving back to the world in a way, through how they've experienced some of the things that we perhaps offered them.
Sure.
Interesting. Well, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Bostwick.
Yeah.